It couldn't be a simpler product. I have a Bitcoin. Well, what's the plan for next year? A Bitcoin. What's the plan for 100 years? A Bitcoin.
Right.
Well, what if you don't change it? I don't want to change it. You don't want to change it. What is it? It's a creature in cyberspace. It's like plankton. I've created the elemental container to hold monetary energy. What's the goal? To not lose your money. That's the goal. So the value proposition of Bitcoin is it's digital property on an open, decentralized network given to the world. Nobody can control it. No one needs to improve it. It doesn't, all it needs to be is to exist. And if you want a metaphor, like how do I see it? It's like if you could go back 200 years and you could buy Manhattan, all of it, would you? Would it be a good investment?
Mm-hmm.
When would you sell it? What's the best time? Would you short it? Would you trade it? What's the best time to sell Manhattan if your family owned it in the year 1800? When would you have wanted to sell Manhattan?
Right. The answer is never.
Never. Right. Okay. Now, what do you own? You own a city block. What's great about it? It's on granite. Manhattan is granite. What's good about that? Well, if you actually own sand and you build a building on sand, it might collapse, right? The Surfside tragedy what happens when you build a 100-story building or actually that's 12 stories on a weak foundation. Manhattan is special because it's a great piece of real estate. It's sitting at the Hudson River mouth, so it's geographically well located. It was a shipping center. It's the greatest city in North America. Maybe it's the greatest city in the English-speaking world. New Yorkers think it's the greatest city in the world. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't displace the need for Paris, London, Beijing, Singapore, or Tokyo. So it's just one of 20 great cities in the world. But if you had actually bought 25 city blocks in Manhattan 200 years ago, your family could have held it and it would still be valuable. Now, that's what Bitcoin is. It's buying a block in cyber Manhattan. Might it be good for 100 years? Sure. Might it be good for 1,000 years? Yeah. One day 1 billion people might live there. There's already 150 million people there now. What if 5 billion people lived there? Well, why wouldn't they? Everybody in Japan can't move to Manhattan, but everybody in Japan can own Bitcoin. Why wouldn't you? It's the dominant digital property network in the world. It's the most secure, with the greatest integrity, with the most durability, with the least likelihood of being impaired or broken of any kind of property. So that makes it the apex crypto property. It also makes it the apex property of the human race. There's nothing better. Everything's riskier. Everything is more likely to be impaired. And what do you do on top of a block in Manhattan? You build a building. Okay, so your family can build the Rockefeller Center. Good building. Lasted 90 years. I think, 1932, 1933. 90 years old. Okay, good. Will it last for 1,000 years? No. Will it last another 100 years? Maybe. What do you put in the building? Businesses. Name a business in 1800 in New York that's still here. Name a business that was in the Rockefeller Center that's still around. Some, 5%. Mm-hmm. So what do you have? You can either buy property with a 500-year time frame. You can buy a building, a platform for business with a 50-year time frame or a 100-year time frame. Or you can start a business, which goes in the building. A restaurant, a discotheque, an insurance company, a bank, a brokerage. Okay, so how does that compare to the crypto world? Bitcoin's the cyber property. Ethereum is probably the cyber platform. It's the crypto platform. They want to be a platform for other businesses. Mm-hmm. And then everything running on it, that's the application, and that's the business. The businesses have a much higher risk profile, right? I mean, there's 100 restaurants that come and go. They have lower capital. It's capital intensive to buy how much does it cost you to buy a block of Manhattan right now? Pretty expensive. How much would it cost you to build a building? Less expensive. How much does it cost you to start a restaurant? Not that much. I can rent some space for 2 years and start a restaurant. If you don't have capital and you're trying to actually create something new, you're going the application route. If you have a decent amount of capital, you're going to build a building. It's $1 billion. If you have a lot of capital, you might just buy all the land underneath and wait. They're different business propositions. They're on different frequencies. They have different risk profiles. So that's my view on Bitcoin. I think that the idea of Bitcoin is you're literally buying a city block in cyber Manhattan with the opinion that it's $1 billion of monetary energy. Why do I want it? Because the 21st century economy is going to be built on money. Who can use it? Look, people in Ethereum and smart chains, smart contracts, they can use Bitcoin. They can move it around. You can use Bitcoin to stake Lightning applications. So layer 2 apps like Lightning can use it. You can create your own side chains. They can use it. Square and PayPal can create centralized CeFi applications using Bitcoin. They can use it. Coinbase and Binance can use it. It's pretty obvious. Fidelity can offer funds on Bitcoin. Insurance companies can build Bitcoin into insurance. MicroStrategy built a treasury on top of Bitcoin. MicroStrategy issued equity, converts, and secured debt, which are derivatives of Bitcoin. Okay, would it be interesting for a company to use Bitcoin as part of its treasury? Well, my stock went from $120 to $600 a share, and we made billions and billions of dollars for our shareholders. Doing what? We didn't build a proof of stake network. We didn't even build a Square Cash App network. We just bought billions of dollars of Bitcoin and made billions of dollars. Okay, what's the right application of Bitcoin? I don't know. I don't care, right? I think it's very competitive. So my view on this is Bitcoin is good because it's Apex property. It's Apex digital property. It's the most secure crypto asset in the world, the least likely to be impaired, but it's also the Apex property. If I have $1 billion and my choice is $1 billion of gold, $1 billion of silver, $1 billion of lumber, $1 billion of Apple stock, $1 billion of FANG index, $1 billion worth of land in California, $1 billion building, $1 billion of S&P 500 index,